What's up with it? You watching and we about to check out this video from the YouTube channel The Urban Air. Title is 50 Cent Clowns Vivica box after failed BBL surgery. Yeah, man, that's a fool with it, man. 60-year-old with a BBL, man. That's crazy, man. But yeah, man, 50 and Vivica been going back and forth for a while, man. I think Vivica really had a problem getting over 50. And to be honest, personally, I think it didn't work out because Vivica already had made her name, you know what I mean? And I think she could have been trying to like settle down or something. But then when it come down to 50, though, he was still making his name and still working. So he probably was in work mode, you know what I mean? He probably had different plans than she had, for real though. Yeah, man, I'm not sure if they'll ever get together again. Vivica definitely up there in age now, man, for real though. But yeah, man, back in the days though, man, Vivica definitely was one of the ones, man. But for a 60-year-old though, man, she definitely don't look bad though, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I haven't checked out the video. Don't completely know what they talking about, but let's check it out and see what they talking about.
Lisa. So what did she do? She clapped back, and she clapped back hard. She wasn't about to sit quietly while he spread lies like he was on a press tour. No, ma'am. She made it crystal clear that she was never using him for publicity, and she sure as hell wasn't about to let him tarnish her name just to boost his own. If he thought he could play with her, he had another thing coming.
Anyway, the relationship didn't work out, but the press lasted a lot longer than the relationship did. So, I mean,
you did a PSA on Curtis about him and Soulja Boy,
yeah,
on the cover of,
yeah,
you know, you kind of poking the bear there.
I'm not poking a bear. I'm saying that he's a stone. And I've spoken to two men who lived in sales with, who you had sex with, Curtis. No, I'm not saying allegedly. And you know it.
Say what now? Not Vivica Fox botched BBL giving her problems. And as always, 50 Cent is out here clowning her. Vivica had no business getting that botched BBL in the first place. But baby, 50 is the last person that should have been speaking about it. Because now Vivica is coming for him and exposing him for getting himself poked by other men too, if you know what I mean. Vivica needs to go get a refund for what that doctor did to her. Because honestly, that's one of the worst BBLs I've seen on anyone. No shade. I don't know what was going through Vivica's mind when she decided to get that BBL, but whoever did that to her needs to be held accountable because sis can barely move, and it doesn't take much to see that something went very wrong. And she was absolutely not in the mood for 50 Cent throwing his opinion into the mix, so she fired back by putting his alleged DL behavior on full blast. Now, to be fair, 50 brought this on himself. It all started when a video of Vivica at a Houston event celebrating her hair collection line went viral. She showed up in tight white jeans that put all her curves on full display, and that BBL was definitely making itself known. A lot of people unsurprisingly had something to say about it, and 50 Cent wasted no time jumping in. His first comment has since been deleted, but people got screenshots fast enough. And basically, he was out here talking about spinning the block on her. Now for context, 50 and Vivica actually dated back in 2003, but it didn't last long, and 50 made it messier than it needed to be by going around dissing her in his music and branding her a gold digger.
Anyway, the relationship didn't work out, but the press lasted a lot longer than the relationship did. So, I mean,
why do you think press does that? Why do they like vilify the woman? Because when I read that stuff, I was like, it's so ridiculous.
No, it wasn't the press. It was him.
Oh,
yeah, it was him. He was like, she's exploiting me. She's trying to use me for, you know, to get publicity, and which was so not true. I was about to be in a film with, you know, Oscar-winning actors, and I've been acting for years. But, you know, I just considered that ghetto love. That was his way of dealing with the breakup.
So after the blog,
yeah, that's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I think Vivica's name probably was more solidified than 50 at the time. You know what I mean? But 50 did have a crazy way. And maybe she could have gained a little clout from the situation. You know what I mean? Honestly, though, man, I think both of their names carry weight, though, for real, though. And I really don't think she needed 50 Cent to boost her career or nothing at all. You know what I mean? And like I was saying, Vivica was really one of the ones back in the day. A lot of dudes' dream girl, for real.
Boggs picked up his spin the block comment, he backtracked and switched gears, hopping on Instagram to clown her BBL instead. He posted a screenshot of an article covering his comment and captioned it, "Who said I was spinning the block, man? Damn. Ain't gonna lie, that booty was good though, I think." And honestly, a lot of people actually agreed with him on that part, because Vivica's body before this BBL was genuinely something. But to give her some grace, people had been relentlessly coming for her weight for a while, and that kind of thing gets to you, especially when your body used to literally be the standard. I mean, do y'all remember how she looked in Kill Bill? Everyone wanted that body, so you can imagine how much it must have stung to go from being the blueprint to being picked apart and called a big back.
I ain't gonna lie, she definitely was like the standard before the BBL for real, though. And really, man, I don't think she needed no BBL.
Unfortunately, the BBL didn't help her case, and people kept ragging her for it. And now it is being reported that this botched BBL has been giving her back problems. Mind you, she is 60 years old. But when 50 joined in, that's when she'd had enough and decided to get petty right back by putting his alleged DL behavior out there for everybody to see. And once those allegations started flying, people went digging and found that this wasn't exactly new territory. The first time rumors like this surfaced was back in 2010, when 50 and Soulja Boy showed up on the cover of XXL magazine in a way that raised a lot of eyebrows. The photo had 50 posted up behind Soulja in a very dominant stance, rocking a white do-rag, while Soulja stood shirtless in front of him, with his pants pulled down slightly. A lot of people felt like no straight man would ever agree to be photographed like that, and the image the magazine was for was pretty hard to ignore. Now let me tell you something. People were not here for this cover at all, even claiming that 50 and Soulja were showing off their gay relationship.
Track,
Man.
so, you know what I'm saying? You can't ask for more out of them. We got a huge community of artists out there that are working every day in the studio every night.
Things got even worse.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't think it was like nothing fruity for real though, man. But I think if 50 had his shirt off too or something, then it would have been like suspect and looking weird. But to be honest, man, that really didn't look weird like that for real. But I wouldn't get mad at people having different opinions, you know what I mean? Like if you think it looked weird to you, I'm not gonna argue with you know what I mean?
First, when 50 decided to publicly shade the show Empire for incorporating gay storylines, saying the show went downhill because of it. At the time, Vivica happened to be starring in Empire, so his comments hit differently for her, and she decided to stop holding back. She addressed it during an interview with Andy Cohen, where Andy brought up what 50 had said about the show. That's when she hinted at 50 potentially being DL, brought up that XXL cover with Soulja, and revealed that back when they were dating, she always got a feeling he was wrestling with something internally. She just couldn't put her finger on what it was.
Blame the second season ratings dip on gay stuff.
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black is all I'm saying.
Ooh, calling black. Huh.
Whoa, that was some tea. That was shade. That was major shade.
Not calling the kettle black. So I mean, you're not insinuating that
he's gay?
50 Cent is.
Man.
Lord, please. What? Girl, we gotta talk after this episode is over.
Wait, Vivica A. Fox, what are you insinuating?
Seems like he's got something that's not quite clear. So
you mean sometimes if people protest too much about something,
yes,
there's the fire is happening right there in front of them.
Absolutely. I just never forget there was a Vibe cover with him and Soulja Boy that made me kind of go,
Both 50 and Soulja.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I think it's her ego probably that made her say that, because she probably feel like if you don't want me, it gotta be something wrong with you. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, around that time, she definitely was still looking like one of them ones. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie though, man. Like now, don't she look a lot different for real?
Soulja lost it after that. And instead of addressing what she actually said, they just went straight for her jugular. Soulja jumped on Instagram and posted, "Everybody hit up this cougar. She's single and ready to mingle. 1-800-GRANNY desperate for attention. Washed up." 50 reposted it and piled on with his own comments, claiming the reason Vivica thought he was gay was that he let her do something a little too intimate for his own good. "I let her lick my butt. LMAO. Wait, I didn't want her to. She forced me.
Man.
My hands were tied. 50 Shades of Grey." Girl, this entire thing with Vivica's botched BBL quickly went from it just being about the BBL to people now doing a full-blown investigation into 50's sexuality. And honestly, he has no one to blame but himself. He could have shut up about her BBL, and maybe people wouldn't be looking into who he chooses to sleep with. But here we are. Oh, but it got even worse. Right when we thought this was over, Jaguar Wright also jumped in and stepped into the chat and confirmed that Soulja and 50 were in fact drilling each other out. According to Jaguar, the reason why 50 knows so much about the DL rappers in the industry is that he is part of them, and he was the one who dragged Soulja Boy into that life.
The rap game since he was little, just like Weezy.
Yeah.
And his been ran through quite a bit. Caught him naked. Whoever his big daddy was threw him ass naked into the hallway. He was walking around in the hallway. Has actually appeared on a magazine cover together.
Damn. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Able to call other on being a swish. Birds of a feather flock together.
And do y'all remember the time that 50 said Diddy offered to take him on an all-expenses-paid shopping spree? Well, the streets are now saying that the reason Diddy felt comfortable making that kind of offer was that he got word from some people that 50 had messed with that 50 was a Fruit Loop. So he also shot his shot trying to see if he could get a taste of those cheeks. And I mean, this kind of makes sense because Diddy wouldn't walk up to a man he knew for a fact was 100% straight unless he knew he had a little bit of sweetness to him.
Then Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get style. Then he was like, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out. We gotta.
This is Puff. Okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. And he was like, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, just saying.
At the end of the day, it's not totally clear how either of the allegations they're both making against each other is. I mean, yes, we know that Vivica did have a BBL, but as to whether it's really a failed surgery is between her and her surgeon. And as for 50, he might want to pipe down on talking about other people if he doesn't want them looking into who is stretching his back. As usual, people had their thoughts like this person who said, celebrating a botched BBL at 60 years of age is wild. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of 50 Cent dragging Vivica for her BBL? And do you really think 50 is DL like she claims? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, man, that's a fool with it, man. I ain't never heard about 50 being DL or nothing, but I have heard people speak on that magazine cover with Soulja Boy, though, man. Some people think it looked a little weird, I guess, man. But I don't think it looked that weird, man. I think it would have looked weird if 50 would have had his shirt off, too, or something. That really would have looked weird, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I ain't mad at nobody if they think it's questionable, you know what I mean? It just don't look like nothing fruity to me, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, as far as Vivica, though, man, she definitely was bitter about their breakup. She been bitter for years and years, man. She might be bitter right now still, man, to be honest. Yeah, man, I do think she was crazy, though, man, to go get a BBL at 60. I think Vivica definitely didn't need no BBL, man. She been hot forever, you know what I'm saying? Since I was a kid, literally, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think her weight been going up and down, but she's still not a bad-looking person, you know what I'm saying? I think she definitely be going a little too far with the surgeries and stuff like that, too, you know what I'm saying? It's starting to show a little bit, but still not a bad-looking person at all, though, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments, though, man. Y'all think 50 fruity or something, man? Or y'all think Vivica just still bitter from the breakup or something, you know what I mean? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Watching Not a Fan TV Network. Till next time, peace.